Welcome to the American Valor Podcast. Today we are honored to speak with Josh Rawitz, president of the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. Josh is a respected leader in sports, culture, and community stewardship, known for preserving baseball's rich history while ensuring the game's legacy continues to inspire future generations. Under his leadership, the Hall of Fame serves not only as a shrine to excellence on the field, but as a platform for education, service, and citizenship. Josh, it is my honor to spend this time with you today.
Well, it's actually my honor, Enrique. I appreciate it very much. Thanks for having me.
Well, we have a pleasure of hosting you today. Now, before we get into all the questions around the podcast and the four pillars, tell us a little bit about you and what you are up to these days.
Well, I'm fortunate to have spent my whole life working in baseball. Started a career at the Los Angeles Dodgers as an intern and was there for about 15 years, and then the Arizona Diamondbacks for a decade, where I really learned a lot about leadership and running an organization. And about 5 years ago or so, I got a call from someone who was leaving the Hall of Fame. You may know Jeff Idelson, my predecessor, and he had thought perhaps myself and a few others could be a good fit. And as I went through the process, it landed with me and my family moving to Cooperstown, cross country, and it's been a tremendous opportunity for me and for my family. And just to be able to walk into a place like this every day is not something we ever take for granted. It's an incredibly special place.
And what a wonderful journey for you. And I know you must be ear to ear smiles with LA back to back World Series and after investing so many years with them. Now, folks, at the Bob Feller Act of Valor Foundation, we strive to educate, support, and recognize by instilling the timeless values of service, sacrifice, legacy, and citizenship. And based on the pillars mentioned, I would like to start today's conversation with service. In your role as president, what does service first leadership look like when stewarding an institution as historic and emotional as the Hall of Fame?
First and foremost, I think we're all very aware that we're fortunate to be in these roles. This is not a job that anybody who works here takes lightly. So I think we have to recognize that we're here to serve others. We're here to serve the public that comes through these doors every day. We're here to serve each other, and think about the needs of the people that came before us and those that'll come after us. So I think we spend a lot of time thinking about what would the people who come to the building want, not necessarily what do we want the exhibits to look like or the hall to look like. We make decisions all the time that sometimes as a leader I have to break a tie or try to help somebody understand a vision. But ultimately, for me, the role of service in this position is incorporating everybody in the whole building into the process at every level, understanding what we're doing, why we're doing it. And it's not just myself or the leadership team here that make these decisions. We involve, just yesterday, we had a meeting with all of our directors to work through next year's plan, and then we'll roll it out for the whole company in 2026. And so just helping people learn how their role plays a part in what we do, helping them grow their careers, helping them all understand what we're doing on a daily basis is all part of what I think is serving those who work here. And it's almost 100 people full time who are here every day. And those are the people that I serve, as well as the 250,000 people that come every year to Cooperstown to see this place.
Yeah, that's a lot of people, and I love that approach on service. Now, in baseball, we do have, similar to military in my background, a certain amount of sacrifice, and many Hall of Fame stories include tremendous personal sacrifice, time, health, family, and even opportunity. How does the museum ensure those sacrifices are honored and not just celebrated?
It's hard. The difference between honoring and celebrating is a fine line. And so I think what we have the plaque gallery here, and many people who come to Cooperstown think that that's all they're going to see is just this gallery of plaques. That is the ultimate honor. When we talk about our mission of preserving history, honoring excellence, connecting generations, that's the honoring excellence part. And right below all of the 70 men who stepped away from their baseball careers to serve their country, we have these incredible medallions that basically detail what conflict they served in, what branch of the military they served in. And so in a way, I guess that's how we honor those particular people. But the challenge really is that for all 351 people who are Hall of Famers, um, you can't put this on the same level of the sacrifice of leaving your career to go away to war, but every one of them has made incredible sacrifice to get to this point. You mentioned family, that the time away from missing your kids' graduations and the health challenges that you probably face later in life. Um, Admittedly, we probably don't do a very good job of honoring or celebrating that. It's kind of just part of what people know goes into it. Certainly, it comes up when they give their speeches standing on induction stages, but everyday Americans make those same sacrifices, and frankly, we probably don't do a good enough job of honoring and celebrating those as well. So it's a good reminder that we got to make sure that certainly service to country is incredibly important, but the sacrifice that many have made to reach the plaque gallery is something that's hard, and we don't want to take that for granted.
Yes, absolutely. And talking about the plaque gallery, let's move on to legacy. Legacy is central to the Hall of Fame. So, how do you define legacy, not just for players, but for the game itself?
We talk a lot here about trying to stay relevant for the next generation of fans. I think people probably tired of hearing me say that, but I say it all the time, and that means that we have to find ways to take things that happened 50 years ago or 100 years ago, 150 years ago, and keep that legacy alive. Um, and so, I'll take an example that's obviously close to home here with Bob Feller. I mean, we had a plaque in the gallery, and we generally don't change plaques. It's very, very rare. Jackie Robinson's plaque changed because he originally didn't want anything on there about him breaking the color barrier. But 30 years after he passed, his wife said, I think it's probably time to make sure that that's on his plaque. And so preserving that legacy is very important. Bob Feller used to have a plaque that listed the years he was in the major leagues, and it just had them for the entire time. I think it was basically from 19, what would have been 36 to 56, I think 20 years. And what he wanted us to do was basically put a gap there and have it say 1936 to 41 and or 39, and then after he got out of the war through the end of his career. And he wanted us to do that so that people will come here 50 years from now and wonder, hey, I wonder why that guy has a gap in his years. And then the story would be told about his military service. So, from our standpoint, it's trying to make sure that we preserve that history, keep that legacy alive, as well as really you think about the game today, the changes that are being made. We just built a case here that shows artifacts from the new pitch clock and the bigger bases and the universal designated hitter. And so keeping the legacy of the game alive is really what we do every single day. And people will come here 100 years from now and go, hey, remember back in 2024 when they did this, or back in 2037 when they did this? That's really what our job is here as a museum.
And that's interesting that both members that joined the hall at the same time were the ones that got the adjustment. It was
Yeah.
early on, but very true to hold to the truth of the history behind the player. And I love that you guys did that for them. It's
Yeah.
very important for all those that are listening. That legacy is really encapsulated by the way we tell our stories. And you guys are doing that very well. So thank you for that. Now, let's talk about citizenship. Baseball has long reflected the values and tensions of American society. How does the Hall approach its role as a cultural citizen, not just a sports institution?
Well, I mean, this place really is, it's a place of pilgrimage. It's hard to believe how many people spend a lifetime saying, I'm going to get to Cooperstown. I need to go there. And they show up. And frankly, it's not just American citizens. It's become such a global game that we have to make sure we're telling all those stories. So, a couple of years ago, we celebrated the opening of a brand new exhibit focused on the history of Black baseball called The Souls of the Game, Voices of Black Baseball. Um, Doing that alongside a recreation of a Negro Leagues All-Star game and Hank Aaron statue that we dedicated, and a whole initiative we created around it, is part of our role, as you said, as a cultural citizen. But then this past year, it was we did a whole exhibit on the history of baseball between Japan and the United States. We had our first Japanese inductee in Ichiro Suzuki, and we had fans from all over the world come and experience what Cooperstown is all about. But interestingly, in the same year, and just a few steps away from that exhibit, we did something on bobbleheads. And so you think about the cultural phenomenon that bobbleheads have become. It's not just baseball fans. Everybody wants to have these things. In fact, I've got a bunch of them in my office right behind me. So, I mean, you look at some of those things, and then this coming year, we haven't announced it yet, but in January we'll make a big announcement about the way in which we're going to celebrate American history throughout the year 2026 and America's 250th birthday. We're going to hear a lot of people talking about doing that across the country, but we'll be doing that here in Cooperstown. So from our standpoint, it really is. We are cultural citizens. We do have to make sure that this place tells the story of everybody who is a part of America, and I think it's one of the things that we've done really well here for many, many years, and hope we'll keep doing for more years to come.
Yes, and I hope the same. As you was mentioning bobbleheads, I'm bobbing my head because I have several. I got Hideki Matsui,
I love
Bernie
it.
Williams, Derek Jeter. Obviously a Yankee fan,
There you
but
go.
I have several of those bobbleheads running around this house. So it's funny that you would mention that. And it is a great piece of culture of how baseball has evolved to include those that are spectating, because that's the whole thing, right? Just like a company wouldn't be anything without its customers, baseball would just be a plain old sport without those spectators coming in to support. So thank you for doing that and keeping that community piece or citizenship piece alive. Now, those that are listening, and I know you're well versed with social media and you're out there, but where can our audience learn more about you and how to support you?
Really, the best place obviously is our website, baseballhall.org. But for those that do like social media, we're on everything: Facebook and X and Instagram and even TikTok. Constantly growing, constantly putting great content out there. And I would just recommend that it's easy just to hit a quick like, and we'll feed you some really cool content that will keep you interested in the game, wanting to learn more about the history, and hopefully someday making a first visit or a 10th visit to Cooperstown, because it's constantly evolving here, constantly changing, and we want people, even if they've been here, not to think, oh, I did that when I was a kid. Keep coming back, check this place out, because it's quite different, and it's an incredibly special place to visit, and an even more special place to live and work.
I agree. And I am due for a first visit. I told John that back a while when I interviewed him. So that's still pending and hopefully will come to pass here this next year when you have that 250th anniversary set up. Now, folks, for more information on the foundation, please visit us at our website, activevaloraward.org. And on behalf of the Bob Feller Active Valor Foundation, thank you all for joining us on this episode. And thank you, Josh, for being with us.
My pleasure, Enrique. Thank you so much for your service, and hope to see you up here soon.